So I wanted to record something. I did release it was like a 10-minute video yesterday about a situation that's going on that I think almost above average can help. I mean, it's something. So what had happened, what I'll do is I'll post the video, the audio from the video after this little bit. But the situation is this. So I had this friend that we grew up together. I think we were in the same elementary school too. And we both grew up in Carson City. We knew each other. We were friends throughout high school, played sports. And then, like most people after high school, we kind of just go our separate ways. And, luckily for Facebook and Instagram came out so we could kind of keep tabs on everybody. And so, we've been Facebook friends since Facebook was out, really. And so we kind of just, I've been watching his story over the years, and his name is Adam Ginsberg. And the story that I was watching, he did some really cool stuff, man. He got out of high school. He started a wrestling company, like a WWE type wrestling company. And I thought that was so cool. And I watched him develop over the years. And, from the Facebook posts, he's just building this company, hosting events, doing really cool stuff. And, I just started the podcast about a year ago. So I'm just trying to find interesting people to get on it. And I came across the post of his. I'm like, yeah, he would be perfect. And so I think this was Monday, about a week ago now. I reached out to him on Facebook and just sent him a thing in Messenger like, hey, bro, I'd love to hear your story on my podcast. And we kind of, I touched base with him on Facebook, and he's like, yeah, that sounds totally cool. And he sent me his phone number. And so we called and chatted about it. The rest of that story isn't going to be in the video that comes up next. But what this whole thing kind of spawned, basically the long and the short is he was supposed to be on the podcast. He couldn't do it one day, so the next day we rescheduled. And when we talked on the phone, he was going through it. Like he had some family issues going on, and he was just in a bad spot. And so the day that I found out, the day that we were supposed to record is the day that they found him. He had already passed away. And what do you do about that? What can be done about that? I don't know. It's a situation. I've been through that situation, and it was the darkest time of my life. When I was going through it, the only person that I wanted to talk to was my ex-wife at the time. Like, that was the only person that I felt that I could talk to. But it was such a dark time. And it saddens me to know that he was going through that, and we were talking, and I don't know. What could I have done? I don't know. But anyways, in the aftermath of that, so, a lot of people were kind of touching base on Facebook and throwing ideas around, because this is sad. So many people from our hometown have committed suicide since high school. My wife and I were talking about it. Like, is it a localized thing there? I mean, I will say, I think there is a general sadness where we grew up, at least in my experience. And I think that stems from, it's a casino-built economy. So growing up in that environment, I was 10 minutes away from a brothel, and then there's casinos everywhere, liquor stores everywhere, gun stores everywhere. Like, the things to do in our small hometown, at least for me, there was nowhere to go. Like, had this mini golf place that had bumper boats when I was really young. But as far as the teenage years, most of my teenage years, like, the only thing that I remember we had to do, there was this place called Laser Tag, where they did a laser tag thing, and they had a dance floor where teenagers could go and dance. So that was one thing, and that was cool. We did that, when we could. And then they had batting cages, and we had Lake Tahoe. Now, most people that grew up where we grew up in Lake Tahoe. That's where we spent most of our time. Because in Carson City or Gardnerville in Reno, I mean, there's some stuff to do in Reno. But when I was growing up, I went to the bowling alley to hang out. At that age where you feel kind of independent and you want to have to be babysat everywhere. So the that I would do, it was probably like a 10-minute walk from my house. I would walk to the Pinion Plaza where the bowling alley is and just kind of hang out and watch people bowl and play video games, meet friends there. That's where we would hang out. But still, that's not really engaging. There's not much to do at a bowling alley except for bowl, which we did some of that. But overall, as a city, Carson City, Nevada, now that I have left, I wouldn't have raised my family there. Because now I'm in North Carolina, and it's just different. It's a lot different. But what is it? Is it just people from our city? I don't know. There's been way too many people. So a lot of ideas that have been going around. I've had a lot of good conversations yesterday because of this video that I put out, trying to find a solution. Maybe not even a solution, just something that we can do to help this situation. Like in 2020 during COVID, when I tried to kill myself, it was already too late. By the time I had gotten to that spot, if someone were to get through to me, it would have had to have been years before I got to that state, or maybe like a year or two, because I slowly escalated to that, and I didn't really have anybody around me that could see what I was going through, because I stayed to mostly and just sat in my apartment and drank. And then when the kids were over, I would pretend, everything was fine. But how can we prevent this? Now, the easy answer is go to therapy. But someone needing that type of care, at least in my experience, when I was feeling suicidal, I better go call someone to get help. That wasn't the thought. It was, take me out of here. Like, I don't give a shit. So getting through to a person that's already in that state of mind is going to be next to impossible from my experience. So that leaves, we have to get to them during the depression, like maybe when the depression starts, or just somewhere in the middle. I don't know. We need to try to find a way to get people before they get to the part where they're going to kill themselves. Because once that decision is made, you're not letting anything else in. And so I think it has to be, I have no idea, man. All I know is that this situation and my experience of, this similar thing, I feel like there's a calling for me to do something about it, and I have no idea what to do. I had a couple friends reach out. We're going to have a little brainstorming session tomorrow and just talk about what we can do. But I think what I can do right now is talk about it. And I'm going to put this out on Monday. One of the ideas we were talking about yesterday was like a men's mental Monday section on the podcast where, we just discuss men's issues, or maybe we'd reach out. I don't know what that looks like. We're going to talk about all that stuff tomorrow. But I have the media company. I have a podcast to use. I have music. I have ambition. I have desire. I want to do something about this. And like I said, I have no idea what that is. But what I'm really hoping for is during this process, I'm going to have a brainstorming session tomorrow. I've had, I think, 3 conversations yesterday on the phone about this. All people like chiming in with ideas. All people that want to do the same thing that I'm talking about right now. We're done of our friends killing themselves. We're tired of our brothers and our sisters and our mothers and our fathers and our sons and our daughters killing themselves. There has to be something that we can do. And it's not going to be an easy answer. But my hope is that we can kind of start a conversation, at least within my hometown and the people that I grew up with. Maybe we can start a conversation and get together and come up with something, whatever it is. Right now I can do podcasts about men's mental health on Mondays. I can do that. What else can we do? So it worked yesterday. I put out that video and I got a ton of comments, phone calls, and messages. So, hopefully we can keep that building. It does feel like everyone from the hometown just kind of has this, there's too much. But I don't know. So this is a special edition of Almost Above Average. And this is really what the podcast is about. It's sharing stories to help people. And I guess we're going to see where this goes. I'm going to play the audio from the video right after this. But hit subscribe, follow this story. Maybe there's a way you can help out. I know we're all kind of devastated and at a loss. So there's got to be something we can do. I can't stop thinking about Adam. It was literally 3 days ago on this same trip on my way to work. We talked for an hour about the podcast. And what had happened is I didn't know what he was going through. I saw a post a week ago or so about I think he had visited a doctor. He had overcame some medical thing that he was going through. And over the years, we haven't talked since high school. We graduated in 2000. But we've been friends on Facebook the whole time. And,
a lot of us from high school are all friends, but we don't really talk that much. Maybe we like each other's stuff every now and again. I love seeing family stuff from everyone we went to high school with. But him, you know, well, I watched him through the years, and we all kind of lie a little bit on Facebook about how great our lives are. But the story that I saw developing over years, and the reason I ended up asking him to be on the podcast, we all went to high school, we graduated, we go our separate ways. And then like I start seeing him posting like cool like WWE stuff. And I'm like, dude, what is that? Like how do you even get involved in that? How does one choose that as a path? I just had no idea. And I always thought it was really cool. And so through the years, I'm just kind of watching him, his life, watching his wrestling stuff, just fully supportive. I love that. Most people don't pick, a dream and then end up chasing it, building it, and doing it. And I thought that was, I love seeing that. And so I reached out about the podcast. I sent him a message on Facebook, and he responded back. He's like, "Yeah, man, that sounds good. Shoot me a text before and let's talk on the phone beforehand." And I was like, "All right, no problem." I think it was that same day. It was Tuesday. I was like, on my way to work, I was like, "I'm going to give you a call here in a minute." He's like, "Cool." And so we talked, we touched base, and it was really nice to talk to him. But he was going through some stuff that I'm not going to say every family, but I've been through it. A lot of my friends have been through it. When you're having trouble with your spouse at home, you have a family already. He was going through it, and I could hear it in his voice, and he's venting to me. He needed someone to talk to that day. So I just listened, and he kind of told me the rundown on what's, going on in his life right now. And it was very hard to hear, and it sounded super difficult. He even expressed to me like how he was feeling. And what is so sad about that is that, because this happened, I was one of the last people he talked to. And so there is a little bit of guilt there. Like, did I say something wrong? Was it the podcast? Was there pressure on him that I didn't know? A million different things. And I just can't get it out of my head. And so we were scheduled to record the podcast the next day, and a couple hours before, he's like, "Hey man, I had a rough night. I'm not really doing it." Or, he couldn't do it that day. I was like, "Dude, it's not even a problem. We don't have to do it at all." I told him that because I realized kind of what was going on. And he's like, "No." He's like, "Let's try tomorrow. I should be good tomorrow." I was like, "All right." So that was Thursday. That was yesterday. And then throughout the day, I was just kind of thinking, like, after what he talked to me about, I think his story is powerful and I think it could help somebody, but I don't think he was in a place to tell it. And so I reached out to him just saying, "Hey man, let's hold off until you get through this little patch, because overcoming this story would be just a great story to share with people." Unfortunately, we didn't get an opportunity to do that. After I sent him that text, he didn't respond. It was getting close to recording time. We were going to record at 3 o'clock. He didn't respond to my first message. So I sent him another message. It was like, "Hey man, how are you? Is everything okay?" And he never responded to that one. I was like, ugh. And I didn't know what to do. I don't know anybody in his family. I didn't know, what the heck was going on. So I just kind of went about my day. And like an hour or two later, I get to work, and I open up Facebook to try to see if he was online today. So I jump on his Facebook page, and then I see everybody commenting about what had happened. And this is just, it's crazy to me. I don't know what is going on, but I have been in that position before. And I want to be able to do something about it. I want to be able to help in this situation, but I don't know what to do. The suicide hotline is there, but you still have to get someone to, in my experience, when I was experiencing those thoughts and that state of mind, I didn't want anybody to look at me. I didn't want anybody to talk to me. And the feeling that I felt more than anything was, I'll be making everybody else's life easier. I know that's not right, but that's what was in my head. So I can only imagine what he was going through. Trying to figure out a way to help in a situation like that is impossible, but there has to be something. I can think of 4 people right now just from high school, just off the top of my head. I know there's more, but we got to do something, man. I had another buddy reach out to me from Facebook, and he kind of had the same sentiment. We all went to high school together, and he's like, "Dude, we got to do something about this. Like, people need help." I'm like, "Yeah, but what do you do?" And I guess, who knows? I guess the first thing is to start. and maybe really think about how we can help. Is it a Facebook group? Is it a nonprofit? What is it? Is it a brick and mortar place where people can meet once a week? What does it look like? How do we actually reach people who are, in that suicidal, depressive mind state? How do we reach those people? So I have no idea how to do it. I don't think most people do. But I feel if I just do nothing, then nothing happens. And I know we've had a few other people from high school that have been kind of pushing the same message over the years in different ways. I think Justin Shine was putting out, like, I think it was Veterans 22, something like that, like every 22 days or 22 minutes, something suicide related with veterans. And I love that. We got to figure out a way to actually help in those situations. And like I said, I have no idea how to do it. So we're going to hop on a Zoom call, me and AJ Johnson, and we're just going to brainstorm about, what can we do to alleviate some of this pain? How can we, using whatever tools that we have? I have a media company, I have podcasts, I can make music. What can I do with these things to reach out and help people struggling like that? So I don't know what that looks like. Him and I are going to hop on a call on Sunday, and we're just going to kind of hash it out and see what that looks like. Maybe, a lot of you are commenting. Take exit 67 on the right onto Highway 885 north towards Durham. A lot of you have been commenting on his Facebook profile and his page. So, maybe there's an opportunity for us all to get together and do something. Like I said, I don't know what that looks like, but too many people are ending their lives. And the suicide hotline is there, but I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it in the last 2 days, and it's just tearing me up. I don't know how to help, but I know I need to. Maybe some of you guys will have some ideas. Maybe we could all get together and figure out how to help. For sure, family, he's got children. He was married. He's got, there's going to be some monetary needs. So maybe there's a GoFundMe in the future, or God, who knows what it is. But if you see this video and you want to help out, I don't know, maybe reach out, throw some ideas at me, or just throw it in Messenger at me, and I'll see it. Maybe there is an opportunity here for us to come together and try to help this situation. It's just so sad, so sad. In 8.7 miles, keep right. I don't know, but if you watch this video and you knew Adam, maybe throw some good memories in the comments, or just send them to me in Messenger. I want to create something to help this situation. I don't know. Give me some ideas.